Hello, my darlings, and welcome. Today I'm celebrating the Spring Equinox and Ostara with you through crafting, cooking, and creating sacred space. I'll be making a beautiful floral centerpiece, whipping up some delicious themed treats in the kitchen, crafting a special hare trinket dish, and creating an outdoor altar to honor this magical time of balance and renewal. Let's do some magical crafting. I'm starting with a beautiful centerpiece for my dining table. First, I'm crafting some polymer clay carrots. The vibrant orange reminds me of the sun's returning strength, perfect for equinox energy. As I work with this clay, creating vegetables from a garden, I'm mindful that the spring equinox is an ideal time for planting intentions. The energy of this season supports beginnings and growth, making it a perfect time for spell work related to new projects and personal development. I'll be celebrating the spring equinox on a solo trip to Disneyland, but I've planned to specifically take time in the day to move away from the crowds and find a quiet spot to reflect on my new goals this year and do a small life reset ritual, using the joyful energy in that magical place. I'll be leaving a spring equinox offering discreetly as well. Once I've baked the carrots and allowed them to cool completely, I'm gluing some floral wire inside and adding some carrot tops to each one. These are some pieces of artificial greenery I found in my box of faux flowers. The spring equinox brings balance before the light begins to overtake the darkness. This equilibrium creates a perfect environment for reviewing what no longer serves you. Spring is truly the ideal time for a life reset. The earth is shedding its winter coat and preparing for new growth, and you might similarly consider what aspects of your life are ready for renewal. What seeds do you wish to plant? What dreams have been dormant that might now be coaxed into the light? I'm preparing 2 small wooden planter boxes with floral foam, creating the foundation for the display. I'm covering the foam with lush green moss and moss-covered stones. I love the bright green to symbolize the earth awakening from winter's slumber. This spring equinox, you might consider creating a small garden spell jar, filling it with seeds, soil, and herbs that align with your intentions. Place it where the morning sun can touch it, activating its energy as the days grow longer. Another wonderful magical working for this time is a simple candle spell. Select a candle in spring colors, green for growth, or pink for self-love, or yellow for clarity. Carve symbols of what you wish to grow this season. Anoint them with appropriate oils like rosemary for remembrance or basil for prosperity, and light them during the equinox to set your intentions aflame. I'm planting these pink tulips and polymer clay carrots alternately in the moss. The tulips represent the beauty that emerges after dormancy, and the carrots can symbolize hidden growth and nourishment. Finally, our centerpieces are complete. Placed on my table, they serve as a constant reminder of this season's fertile energy. Now let's move to the kitchen, where I'll create 2 sweet treats for Ostara. Both have themes of eggs and spring planting. Eggs and seeds are perhaps the most powerful symbols of the season, perfect embodiments of potential and new beginnings. When we work with egg symbolism and planting themes in our kitchen witchery, we align ourselves with rhythms of renewal. So while I'm not making an egg dish, I'm using the symbols of eggs in these sweet treats. First, I'm making nest treats using the traditional Rice Krispie recipe. I melt marshmallows and butter and pour in sweetened, shredded coconut and cereal. Adding sweetened coconut creates texture, as we're going to make little nests out of this mixture. As I cook, I'm focusing on sweet intentions for the coming season and putting love into everything I make. In kitchen witchery, intention transforms ordinary cooking into magical acts. I scoop the mixture into these muffin cups and I shape them into little nests. I love how these look like little cozy homes for our candy eggs. I'm pressing 2 candy eggs into each nest, and I'm using Whopper malted milk balls, but pastel M&Ms would work beautifully too. Eggs show up in so many spring celebrations because they're such a perfect symbol of new beginnings. There's something so special about creating these little nest treats that reminds me of the warmth and protection that we all need to grow and thrive. Egg magic is particularly powerful during this season. You might consider creating a prosperity spell using eggs, writing your financial goals on an egg with a wax crayon before dyeing it green or gold. As the color reveals itself, visualize your prosperity manifesting. For my second treat, I'm mixing up a batch of brownie batter. As a kitchen witch, you might whisper intentions into your mixing bowl, perhaps wishes for sweetness in the coming season or nourishment for new projects. You can also use chocolate cake batter instead of brownies if you prefer. I baked my brownie cupcakes and allowed them to cool completely. And then I took the optional step of cutting off the tops to level the cupcakes. And now I'm mixing green food coloring into white icing. Green represents growth, abundance, and the fresh energy of spring. I'm icing each cupcake, creating a base for our decorative elements. For half of these cupcakes, I'm adding small candy eggs, and for the others, gummy carrots with a sprinkle of cake crumbs to simulate soil. Oh my goodness, these little carrots surrounded by grass and dirt are just adorable. I love the chocolate crumbs. These are perfect for celebrating spring's growth. I've arranged both sweet treats on tiered trays and displayed them alongside my centerpieces. The kitchen witch knows that feeding loved ones is a form of blessing, and these treats will carry my love to all who enjoy them. I'm selecting my tools and warming up this tan polymer clay to create a special trinket dish shaped like a rabbit. The hare or rabbit is one of the most beloved symbols of Ostara. The association between hares and the spring festival runs deeper than many realize. In European traditions, the hare is sacred to lunar goddesses and fertility deities, making it the perfect animal representation for a festival celebrating new life and renewal. There is profound symbolism of the hare in Ostara celebrations and witchcraft traditions. In witchcraft, the hare holds special significance beyond its connection to fertility. Hares have been associated with shapeshifting, transformation, and magic throughout folklore. Witches were once believed to transform into hares by moonlight to travel undetected across the countryside. This connection to transformation makes the hare particularly powerful during the equinox, a time of transition and change. Unlike rabbits, which are born blind and hairless, leverets or baby hares are born with their eyes open and fully furred. This immediate awareness and readiness for the world connects them symbolically to intuition, foresight, and heightened perception, all qualities valued in magical practice. When we honor the hare in our Ostara celebrations, we're invoking these qualities of intuitive awareness and receptivity to unseen realms. I've shaped this clay into a rabbit lying on its back, with the belly portion forming our dish. The rabbit's position reflects trust and openness, wonderful energies to invite into our spring practice, reminding us that sometimes we must make ourselves open to receive gifts that are coming our way. Once the shape is complete, I baked it according to the package instructions and let it cool completely. With my cooled piece, I'm now painting it as a brown hare with lighter markings on the forehead and belly. As an animal guide, the hare teaches us to navigate life with a balance of caution and swift, decisive action. Hares are remarkably adaptable, able to shift quickly between stillness and explosive movement. They remind us that sometimes the wisest course is to remain perfectly still and observe, while other times require us to leap boldly forward without hesitation. This wisdom is particularly relevant during the equinox when we balance between seasons. The hare as a spiritual guide also encourages us to embrace our fertility, not just the physical sense, but in terms of creative and spiritual abundance. When the hare appears as a guide in your life, it often signals a time of accelerated growth and manifestation. Ideas and projects you've been nurturing may suddenly spring forth with remarkable speed. I'm finishing this piece with a clear gloss varnish to protect and enhance its beauty. The finished piece makes a perfect ring holder, and I've decided to list this one-of-a-kind dish in my shop for anyone who would like to bring its energy into their home. For my final project this spring equinox, I'm turning to this neglected corner of my garden. The overgrown rosemary and ivy tell stories of unchecked growth, much like the aspects of our lives that sometimes need tending. As I cut away dead branches, I consider what might need pruning in my own life. Are there commitments that no longer bring joy, relationships that drain rather than nourish, habits that restrict rather than support my growth? What may I release that no longer serves me, making space for new blessings to enter my life? I'm arranging some bricks I found to create a foundation for a simple, improvised Ostara altar. I'm using ceramic pieces I collected from thrift stores over the years to create a sacred space that feels magical and displays the symbols of the season: rabbits, tulips, flowers, and eggs. Adding pink candles to bring the element of fire, and plastic eggs nestled in a ceramic rabbit basket to symbolize the potential waiting to hatch. Flower crowns in pink and blue complete the altar with beauty and the promise of blossoming. You've transformed a neglected space into a place of intention and beauty, and you have the same power to transform any aspect of your life that feels stagnant or overlooked. Tend your goals as you would tend a garden, with patient, consistent care and joy in the process, rather than just the outcome. As the equal night gives way to lengthening days, may this season of renewal bring you clarity, purpose, and abundant joy.